Hey, good morning everybody. We're out at CrossFit East Cobb, Marietta, Georgia. I'm Jason Sobczak, co-owner and primary trainer and program over here. I've got with me Bo Dorm, who's one of our original athletes, original members, going back to June 2009 when we first opened up.
Welcome to CrossFit East Cobb.
Bo's an all-around great guy, Pigeon 100 finisher from this past November, a good friend of mine. He's here to be my demonstrator while I talk us through our complete fail-safe lower body stretching routine. This lower body stretching routine is very simple and effective. It can be done from your home in about 10 to 20 minutes depending on how much time you have available. It's worked for me when I got ready for the Pigeon 100 in 2009. It helped Bo get through it this past November. It's helped a lot of us get through 50Ks, 10Ks, whatever it is. It's a really simple, effective lower body stretching routine, right? We don't need any fancy poses or anything like that, just straight and to the point. So basically we're going to kind of talk through these stretches real quick and talk about how I would do this if I was at home. Alright, so basically our lower body stretches are as follows. We're going to have the standing quad stretch right and left side, the standing hamstring stretch, the prisoner stretch right and left side, the pigeon stretch, the supine ham and glute stretch right and left side, the supine groin stretch, the seated groin stretch, the calf stretch, and the Achilles stretch. So what I want you guys to do is work this list top to bottom. You perform each stretch 2 to 4 times and hold each stretch for 30 seconds. The 2 to 4 times part depends on how much time you have available to put into this routine. I try to give it about 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week. It seems to keep me healthy and where I need to be. And you always want to stretch everything symmetrically too. If your right side's more sore than your left, just don't stretch your right side and call it a day. Always stretch everything symmetrically. And also, if you find yourself getting a lot more sore on one side than the other, you're probably out of balance and you probably need to get adjusted, all right? So whenever we're going to start the stretching routine, if you're doing it at home, just don't get out of bed cold first thing in the morning and start stretching, right? We want to warm up first. So if I do this at home, what I'll do, put my running shoes on, go jog down my street for about a minute and a half out, minute and a half back, gets me somewhere around 400, 500 meters, something like that. At that point, I'll come back in and I'm going to go ahead and hit 10 air squats and 10 prisoner lunge steps, about 3 rounds. So let's take Bo over here to the center of the gym. When you're setting up for your air squat, basically you want your heels shoulder width apart, toes out 30 to 35 degrees, feet flat on the ground, most of your weight on the heels. Just going to go ahead and hit 10 air squats real quick, squatting down to where his hip crease is right below his knee, keeping his chest up, knees tracking out over the top of the feet, right? Real good air squat. Once Bo's knocked out 10 of those air squats, he's going to go ahead and hit 10 prisoner lunge steps. That's 10 per foot. So fingers interlocked behind head. He's lunging out, keeping his feet flat on the ground, most of the weight from the heel, driving from the heel. So he can go ahead and walk out 5 paces on his right, 5 paces on the left. We're going to kind of shorten this up just for informational purposes. And like I said, we're just doing this one time today, but if you're doing this at home, I want you guys to go out, run at least a minute, maybe a minute and a half down the street, turn around, come back in, 10 air squats, 10 prisoner lunge steps, 3 rounds of that. That should get your lower body warmed up enough to be able to do these stretches. Remember, a warm muscle stretches a lot better than a cold muscle, and that's why we're doing it. Everybody says you run the chance of tearing a cold muscle when you stretch it. I've never seen that happen. But definitely you're going to stretch a warm muscle better than a cold. So taking a look back over our list here, we're going to start off with the standing quad stretch. I like to do this standing up against the pull. If I'm at the gym, I'll do it standing up against the pull-up bar. If I'm at the house, I'll do it in a doorway. So you're going to stand straight, keep your body nice, straight up and down. You're going to grab the joint at the bottom of your leg, top of your foot there. Notice Bo is not grabbing his foot, and he's not grabbing his toes. If you grab your toes and you do the stretch, you're actually stretching that axis out at the bottom of your leg and top of your foot. So you also want to keep your knee in close to your other leg, body nice and straight, up and down. 15 seconds on each side, right side, 15 seconds left side. If you're doing this at home, you want to have a stopwatch, and if you don't have a stopwatch, you can count. If you're counting, make sure you're counting 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, so you don't rush the count. After Bo's done with that 15 seconds on his left side, we're going to kind of stand out on the floor and show you where people make some mistakes with the stretch. All right, so what I see a lot of here in the gym, or probably the way I used to do this stretch before I learned how to do it correctly, I'll be standing out in the middle of the floor or whatever your house, grab your leg and start stretching. Right now he's actually leaning into the stretch, and right now he's grabbing his foot. He's actually more stretching this area down here than he is his actual quad, right? And the same thing people do is grab their toes. So what he wants to do, like I said, keep his body straight up and down, grab the arch or the joint there, and keep his knee in close to his upper body, and that's going to really maximize the quad stretch right there. Sure, will you feel a quad stretch the other way? definitely, but not nearly as much as if you do by keeping your body straight up and down and actually grabbing the bottom of your tibia there, right? Simple enough on the quad stretch. Next thing he's going to do is go ahead and hit the standing hamstring stretch. The feet are going to be anywhere from hip width to shoulder width apart, depending on your personal preference. He's going to bend over, grab behind his ankles, and pull his upper body into his legs. And this one's kind of hard to watch a clock, so it's a really good one. Just use your count: 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Remember, we're holding these stretches for 30-second minimum. All right. When he's done, he's going to relax his knees slightly, stand back up. That hits the standing hamstring stretch. Remember, with these stretches, you may need to, we're kind of giving you the general guidelines for it. It might be up to you. You might feel it more in your hamstrings and glutes with a wider stance, so you do a narrow stance. It's going to be up to you guys to kind of adjust it around 5 to 10% for what we're telling you to maximize that stretch, right? After that, I like to grab the ab mat for the prisoner stretch. Actually, just go ahead and position yourself that way, facing the clock. This is a really good stretch for your hip flexors. He's going to get down on his right knee. I always try to stretch my right side first and then my left side, just so I'm remembering what I'm doing. So he's going to plant his right knee on the ab mat. He's digging his right toe into the ground a little bit, arching back, fingers interlocked behind the head. Call this the prisoner stretch for a reason. He's going to hold that for 15 seconds on the right side, watching the clock up there. And then he's going to switch sides, 15 seconds on the left side. And he's going to want to keep his leg straight behind him, dig that toe down on the ground, and lean a little bit more at an angle with your leg there. Like I said, this is hitting your hip flexor area really, really well, right? All right, after you've got 15 seconds, you can go ahead and recover there. Next thing we're going to do is hit the pigeon stretch. So once again, position yourself watching the clock there. Rotate around. So starting on the right side again. Basically, you want to kind of keep your leg, you're stretching out at a perpendicular angle or a 90-degree angle like that. This is going to be hitting the muscles of your upper hamstring and glute. And generally, your trail legs kind of stay in alignment behind you. If you've never done this one before, you might be real tight and have a hard time getting your leg all the way onto the ground like that. If you do, definitely don't force it all the way down to the ground, right? If you can only go down halfway with it, that's fine. Eventually, you will get loose enough and flexible enough that you'll be able to get it all the way down to the ground, like Bo's doing right there. So once again, he's watching the clock. For the purpose of this video, we're doing this 15 seconds per stretch. In real life, we want you guys doing this 30 seconds per stretch, 2 to 4 times per stretch. Got it? All right, once he's done there, we're going to go ahead and transition over to the supine hand and glute stretch. We're going to be pretty much hitting the same muscles. So he's going to be laying on his back. He's going to grab his right leg. He's going to pull up and in towards the center of his chest. And like I said, it's up to you guys to kind of manipulate the stretch a little bit to where you feel it the most. And like I said, we want to be feeling this in the upper hamstrings, outer part of the glute, right? Obviously, he can't see the clock. This is one you're going to have to count on: 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, so on and so forth. It's his right side and his left side, 15 seconds. All right, once he's done with that, we're going to walk over to the wall here and hit the supine groin stretch. So you're going to need to have a wall to do this one. We're going to give you an alternate here in a second if you don't have a wall available, if you're on the field or whatever. So on your back, legs spread. This one here, I actually do this one for 45 seconds, 2 different times. It feels actually pretty good to lay there and hang out like that. So I'll basically do this one 45 seconds. I'll bring my legs together, kind of reset, and then go back into it for another 45. So Bo's counting again. Once he's done his time, he's going to go ahead and recover from that one. And go ahead and hit the seated groin stretch. So seated groin stretch is real good if you don't have a wall. Like I said, if you're out away from buildings, whatever, out in the field environment, so on and so forth. So he's sitting on the ground, placing the bottom of his feet together, pulling his legs in towards his body, keeping his chest up, and 15 seconds on this one. Once you hit 15, go ahead and recover. We're going to go ahead and finish up with the standing calf stretch and the Achilles stretch. So the standing calf stretch, find a wall, pull a bar, whatever, find a tree. So basically, I think everybody who's done this stretch is fairly familiar with it. He's going to lean into it, keeping his body nice, straight in alignment, forcing his heel down the ground, and obviously stretching his calf muscle out. Hitting the right side for 15 seconds here, left side for 15 seconds. Remember, like I said, guys, it's real important for y'all not to rush the count, not count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You turn 15, a 30-second count into a 15-second count. So it's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, so on and so forth. So once he's completed the calf stretch, we're just going to go ahead and finish up with the Achilles stretch, which is basically stretching your Achilles tendon, which runs below your calf and down your ankle there. So he's keeping his body straight up and down, positioning his feet a lot closer together. He's still forcing his heel down in the ground, and emphasize stretching the Achilles. All right, so once he's finished his left side on the Achilles, let's take a recap of what we just talked about here as far as our whole lower body stretching routine. Like I said, this is just very simple and effective. It can be done, you're gonna need to put at least 10 minutes into it. 20 minutes is plenty enough time to get a phenomenal stretch in. Like I said, I try to do this about 5 days a week, about 20 minutes per time, usually Monday through Friday. Kind of what I've been doing lately is I try to get in here about 15 minutes early, do the regular warm-up of the day, knock the stretching routine out for about 20 minutes before we start, hitting the wad at 5:30. So kind of recapping these stretches: the standing quad stretch, standing hamstring stretch, the prisoner stretch, the pigeon stretch, supine ham and glute stretch, supine groin stretch, seated groin stretch, calf stretch, and Achilles stretch. So remember, we want to work this list top to bottom. We're hitting our biggest muscle groups down to our smallest muscle groups. I want you to hold or do each stretch 2 to 4 times, depending on how much time you have available. And I want you to hold each stretch for 30 seconds. No more, no less, 30 seconds, right? And stretch everything symmetrically. All right, that's it.
Thanks, bud. Good. All right.